Hello viewers, you are welcome on today's segment of the Juvenile Corner. Maybe it's your first time watching this video. This is simply a space for the juveniles where we can portray our skills and our talents right here on your #1 TV station, Board TV. On set today, I have a very special and very important person, and we'll be tackling a very crucial topic, which I will introduce right after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So on set today, I have no other than Mr. Chikoseleshi. Mr. Chikoseleshi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Terry.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so today, before we enter into our discussion, Mr. Chikoseleshi, I would just like you to introduce yourself to the viewers. Perhaps me, I know you by name, but there's some personal information that I don't know about you. So can you kindly introduce yourself to the viewers? Who is this, Mr. Chikoseleshi?
Sure. So to those that are just streaming, and watching this video, my full name is Barnabas Chikoseleshi. Barnabas means the son of encouragement, which is just a translation of English to Bemba, which is Chikoseleshi. So in the actual sense, I've got one name, which is Barnabas or Chikoseleshi. Okay. So many people know me in different capacities. Others know me as an advocate, a socialist. Other people know me as a clinician. Other people know me as a person that is one of the upcoming experts in environmental health and also public health. So there's so many things that I do, so things to do with social welfare. Others, know me for the various donations that we make with the NGO that we are heading, the one that I, administrate, which we'll be able to share later on as we move, along this interview. So that's just a short, description of myself.
Okay, thank you very much. So viewers, today we'll be discussing a topic which I've entitled Being an Influential Youth. Just as you have heard from the introduction of Mr. Chikoseleshi, you can be able to tell that indeed he is an influential man. So to begin with, Mr. Chikoseleshi, what do you have to say about being an influential youth, or what does it mean to be an influential youth?
I think to just back up, the definition of what an influential youth is, I would first love to appreciate, Director Mbaya for whatever that is doing around this place. You're a good example of his products. You're a young person, Mr. Terry, but the way you're just coming out, this gives me hope and the guarantee that we are headed towards so many good things. Seeing young people being bold, speaking with courage, and knowing what they are doing is the only way, or the only way we can transform not only the continent of Africa but also the world at large. So a lot of thanks goes, recognition and thanks goes to Mr. Mbaya for what he's doing in the lives of youths. That's a great example of being influential. You're getting the point of where we're going now. So my own description of being influential, being an influential youth, I would say this is just only the power or the impact one has towards the decision of others. So for example, if you have, if Mr. Mbaya can have an impact in how you're making your own decisions, like what you're doing right now. You've been trained, I'm sure, in terms of how you can do, presentation and stuff, like everything that you're doing. So that's actually a good practical example of what being influential is.
Okay, thank you very much. So from what you've told us about being an influential, so does being an influential, is it in like types or what? Like, since we have said it is like the power that you have over the decision of other people, so is being is influence in stages or in types? So what is it exactly like? Is it in groups or it is just one thing?
Thank you, Mr. Terry. Actually, it's good to bring up such a topic, especially during this period that we are heading towards general elections, and most of the time these youths that become abused with different type of things, with what is happening right now. And with the youth that are just coming forth, these are some of the things that youths need, to listen to. So influence can be in different ways and different capacity. Others would say there should be personal influence, where we are now talking about character. How you behave, how you speak, how you also influence others and how they are making their own decisions. But sometimes they can also be positional influence. This is the type of influence that comes with a position that someone is entrusted with. A practical example that I can give is our Republican president. He's been given a positional influence where he has to preside over all the affairs that has to do with this nation, including you yourself,
Yeah.
and how things have to be run within, this nation.
Okay, so thank you very much. Now, since you have talked about influence, I think the viewers they now understand what influence is, and they now understand the capacities of influence. You can be influential at personal level, as even at national level. You can be an influential. You have given an example of our Republican President, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema. Now, my question is, how can you become influential as a youth? Because most of the youths watching this video, like, they are despised because of their age. They think they cannot become influential. They cannot have the power over the decision making. Even in the country at large, they don't have that courage. Now, my question is, how can you become an influential person as a youth?
So
Yeah.
becoming an influential person as a youth first begins with you yourself, Mr. Terry.
Okay.
Okay, these are things to do with self-esteem, confidence, not forgetting, to be close to the face of God. Because whatever you do at the end of the day comes back to what the Lord has sent us, because there's a greater purpose for each one of us. And that's one of the reasons why we're living and breathing today. So what you need to understand is that you first need to have the desire to achieve what you want. So that's how you build confidence. That's how you build trust, reputation, and everything that follows after that. So being influential is not something that is easy. It's got to start from somewhere. And for people to start backing you, like what Mr. Mbai is doing in your lives, young people that are being found here, you need to have the desire, to do what you want to do. Okay, there should be a burning desire inside of you. Not a sense of entitlement that you're entitled to anything else, no, but the desire for you to do something and achieve something new in your life that will add not just community, development, but also national transformation. Okay, so this is what we are talking about. You need to first get engaged, because there's nobody that will come and force you and do what you do not want to do. You cannot force, they say you can take a donkey, to a stream or a river, but you cannot force it to drink. So this is the way it is. First, they've got to be the desire in you, that burning desire that wants to make you do something that is new, that will bring development, in different angles of life.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you're watching this video, you have read that for you to become an influential person, it must begin with you, the one watching this video, and you should develop that desire to become an influential. So if you don't have a desire, then you can't become influential. Now, Mr. Chikoseleshi, why is it important for, especially the youth, for them to be influential? Yeah, why is it important for the youth? Not any other person, but especially the youth. Why is it important for them to become influential in the society?
Actually, I would appreciate if you add, in your phrase or sentence, if you say, why is it important? Why is it extremely important for young people to be influential? It's clear and straightforward, for this nation to survive, it is based on us and me and you, Mr. Terry. Because when you look at the population of this country, we've got over 20 million plus people, in this nation, and I would say 70% of the same population are you or us, the young people. Now imagine a country with young people that are dormant and they are not thinking. What will happen to it? There will be no development in any ways. So it is extremely important for youth to be influential, to be well informed, to be well equipped, to be well skilled, to be well educated, for every nation to move from a point where we are going forward. Experience is a masterpiece, but age is an asset. Are you getting the point? Yes. So age is an asset. Experience is a masterpiece. You need experience to do so many things, but your greatest asset that you have now, Mr. Terry, it's your age. Okay? Yes. So this is why it's important for young people to be influential in every capacity. Because youth, like I, said earlier, you are not a leader. You refuse to be called leaders of tomorrow. There's no tomorrow without today. Today is Saturday. There will never be a Sunday minus this day. Okay? So whatever that we've got to do today, it's what will impact us. It's what will change the perspective of what will happen the following day. So youths are leaders of today. So it all begins today so that we can move or transition to the following day.
Okay, so thank you very much. Now my question is, since you've talked about being influential, especially concerning the youths. Now I've seen that you have the courage and you are influential, because I saw the post that you are the aspiring counselor for Mapalo Ward. So we are talking about being influential. So instead of us just talking about it, but I would like to give an example of you yourself. So what made you to have that courage to start inspiring, like to want to be a counselor? What gave you that courage so that you can reach at that level. Yeah, that's my
So
point.
the courage, like I was saying, for you to develop or become influential towards other people, you need to have the burning desire, the passion
Okay.
to serve. They say leadership is an inborn, and that is actually true. Some of us were coming a long way, serving the people. So this is a desire. This is part and parcel of myself.
Yeah.
My desire is to serve the people, to work for the vulnerable, and I've done that in so many platforms.
Okay.
Actually, when you look at where I'm coming from, academic wise, I've served as president at a university twice.
Okay.
While I was studying my diploma in clinical medicine, as well as this time that I'm concluding, a Bachelor of Science in Public Health, this coming June. So leadership comes from within, and it's a passion that you need to have to serve the people, to represent the people, to be the mouthpiece of the voiceless. So this is what God has also called me to do. When you look at our previous presidents that we had one president called Michael Chilifesata that always used to say that innate talent and my talent is to voice out or speak on behalf of the people. We've got the likes of Nelson Mandela, we've got the likes of even the current president that we have, the desire to speak for the people. When you look at what is happening in government now, we've got the free education policy, giving an example.
Yeah.
We've got children that are going back to school for free. Why? It's because one became a mouthpiece of those thousands of kids that never had the capacity to do this. So it all starts from the desire. I'm sure personally, if you ask our Republican president, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, looking at his background, if you read about his stories, this is a man that is coming from the village without shoes, without nothing, but government helped educate him, and because of that burning desire, he understood the importance of education, and he comes back all president and says this is something that we need to do to also help the vulnerables that need help, that cannot manage to make ends meet. So me, political wise, the aspiration or the desire of serving the people, or the desire of leadership is coming from this background. It's not starting today.
Okay.
Many of the times I discourage, especially political wise, many of the time I discourage people to aspire for leadership when they don't have the footprints of what they've done before.
Okay.
When you look at me and where I'm coming from, the works that we've been doing are evident. We've moved around in different capacity, church-wise, organization-wise. I'm one of the youngest people here in Zambia that is administrator of one of the fastest growing NGOs that has, partnered with different non-profits and other, partners to do different type of things in communities. Coming from our, from our community, we've built, a school that is running from grade 1 up to 11 now, with our partners called Support Sustain Succeed Zambia. We are doing certain projects, helping different type of people in society, making donations. And I remember during the COVID pandemic, era, we used to go around, communities, helping people with different things that were needed. During the times of the tropical storm Anna, we used to accommodate and help many people that were, affected with that situation. So leadership comes from, they need to be footprints of where you're coming from. You're not just born, it doesn't just happen suddenly. They've got to be, the baby steps. It's step by step. You take one step at a time of where you're coming from. And now the time has come for us to take, to step into civic, leadership, to serve people at a brought up, space. Get into government and connecting different people with government to achieve more results.
Okay. Yeah, so you've talked about that you being an influential or aspiring for councillorship in Mapalo. It is because that you are just called to be a leader, because we have given an example that you have been a president before. Now, how can you identify that this is the call of God, or God has called you to be such a person? Because you said you have discovered that it's your call. It's your call for you to serve the people in different ways. So how can you know that this is the call of God? God is the one who is calling me to do such a thing. Yeah,
that's actually an amazing question, because this I would put it in a way that a lot of people understand this, because these are issues to do with now purpose.
Yeah.
For every human being to be alive, we've got different purposes. And you're breathing today because God has got a, not just an assignment, but a greater purpose for you. But many in life struggle to identify their purpose. But if God helps you to identify your purpose early enough in life, you should be grateful, because you know where you are headed to. You feel it inside of you. There will be that burning desire to do something. You've seen so many people, can give the multiple examples of people that are doing worldly things, but there's always that burning desire that is always moving them from where they are. We've seen people that were thieves before, they are now pastors. We've seen people that used to do all various of, negative, things in the world. But at the end of the day, when you look at them now, even when we get into the Bible, look at the Apostle Paul.
Yeah.
Look at his background. There was always that burning desire to God transformed that person and used him into his own will, into his own will. So when you're called, to do something, there'll always be, that peace that comes with you doing what you're just doing, what God has just called you to do. There's that peace of mind. You'll be happy about what you're doing. Nobody needs to force you to go out there to help people. Personally, myself, when I get into the community, I don't like seeing people suffer, because that's where my passion and desire is. I always want to speak even when I know that it's difficult to handle. Many of the times, I've gone hard, head to head with people of high caliber to just make sure that they do the right thing for those people that are vulnerable. Why? Because it's what God has put into me. You see me most of the times on television, most of the times on papers, advocating, looking at the welfare of the vulnerable in different communities, because that's where the passion lies. And when God gives you a vision or the desire or the purpose to do something, He also gives you the courage. Like, Jeremiah says that, before we are born or formed in our mother's womb, the Lord knew us, and He has given us the words and the courage to speak His word of wisdom. So when God has called you to do something, we even give you the words of wisdom. We'll give you the power to speak positively, to speak without fear. And this is the person that you're looking at. Many other times I've had, meetings with different people of different capacities, cabinet ministers, members of parliament, councillors, mayors. Me, as long as it has to do with the welfare of the vulnerable, I don't mind what will happen. The truth is, I always speak out, regardless of how you feel, as long as it's the right thing to do. That's what we'll do, because that is what God has called us to do. That is it, Mr. Terry.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chikoseleshi. Yeah, so now my question is there any difference between influence and violence? Because most of the youths, they intertwine the two words. They think they are the same. So even now, I want to learn from you, is there any difference between influence and violence? Because some they say you should be an influential person. Either they use the same word in form of you should be violential. So is it the same, or there is a difference between the two?
Let me start with the similarity so that you understand it and differentiate it way better.
Yeah.
Influence and violence, these two your components, they've got one similarity that I can just say, which is change. So when there's influence and when there's violence, there will be change. Okay. Yes. So people should not confuse the two. Yes. So influential wise, this has to do with, I want you to follow me so that you don't lose me. When we speak about influence, influence comes with persuasion. You are persuading me to do something, you are not forcing me. You understand? Then when we speak about violence, it's something that we are physically grabbing by force. Okay? So these are the two big differences between the two of them. I know that so many people confuse influence for violence, but there's a similarity, yes, which is change, because when these two things happen, it will yield change at the end of the day. But when you look at influence and change, the bigger difference is that violence comes with physical force, or grabbing something with physical force. But when it comes to influence, you need to persuade me for you to be influential in my life. You need to persuade me to speak in my life for me to wanting to follow you. When you look at the story of Jesus Christ, he would never go at gunpoint and say, if you want to follow me, this will happen. The time of the disciples and all the people that used to follow him, he will just persuade them. He will speak into their lives and they'll continue following him. You understand that? But things to do with violence, you want to grab something by force. You want to grab power by force. You want people to do things by force. And there are so many things, so many practical examples that we can give across the world of things that are happening. I don't want to touch that part, but I know there are multiple examples that we can give. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Chikoseleshi. So our love reviewers, you've heard you should not be violential, but you should be influential, because violential, it has to do with grabbing something by force, but being influential, it has to do with persuasion, persuading someone to follow you, persuading someone to do what is right. So Mr. Chikoseleshi, I followed you very well, and when it comes to the matter of spirituality, you are expressing yourself very well. So this comes to the question that I would like to ask. In the Bible, which person inspires you a lot when it comes to influence, or Which person has given you that inspiration to say you should become influential? Yeah.
Actually, looking at my own story and my background and where I'm coming from, if there's a story in the Bible that gives me a lot of courage and also inspires me, not only to aspire for leadership, but to just be an influential person in society, is the story of David.
Okay.
So we are coming from backgrounds that we are not appreciated. We are coming from backgrounds that we are looked down onto, places that we are not seen as something that can, create or bring out the good, in us or what we are doing right now. But because God is so merciful and God is so gracious, God has showed his own face, he has showed his own greatness through our lives, and we're examples that are being given to so many people, not just in our communities, but across the nation. You understand that?
Yes.
Yes. So when you look at the story of David, despite him being young, people speaking against him, you cannot do it because David believed in himself and believed in his God that he used to save. The rejected stone became the cornerstone. You understand that?
Yeah.
So David became the king at the end of the day. And nobody can tell stories, without mentioning Bible stories, without mentioning David. Because David is known to be the friend of God himself, a man that was after God's heart. You can imagine that is something that is very big. Yes, so David's story is tremendous. It's something that inspires me. It's something that teaches me that there's no giant, in this world that you cannot bring down. There is no position that you cannot have through their determination, through consistency, through the obedience of the Most High God, and through moving within the right direction and moving with the right people. So that's the way it is.
So thank you very much. So indeed, I've seen that you follow David. Yeah, you like the story of David, because even though Goliath was a giant, but even though David was young, he managed to bring the giants down. So I'll just see from the way you are expressing yourself that indeed you have followed David's story, and David's story inspires you a lot. Now, as we are wrapping up with the show, the question that I would like to ask, well, since we talked about the story of David, because David himself, what made him to stand before Goliath? It is because Goliath, when he stand, was insulting the Israelites, and David, he didn't want those things to be happening. So since we are wrapping up with the show, Mr. Chikoseleshi, what are some of the concluding remarks that you have? Yeah, the closing remarks. What words do you want to say to the viewers watching this video about influence? What do you have to share with them about influence? What words do you have for them?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Terry. Today I came fully prepared, dressed as a youth, because this is a segment to do with juveniles.
Yeah.
As you can see, no suits, no nothing today, but just being youth, because we are youthful.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of my, closing remarks that I'd love to share to the people that will be viewing or watching, this segment is that, especially speaking to the young people, since this is a juvenile segment, is that my brother, my sister, wherever you are, there will be nobody that will come to you and force you to do what you do not want, to do. Let's cancel or get rid of the sense, or we call it the sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Let's not always wait on government to come there and help you. Let's not always wait for other people to do something that you're supposed to do. You've got to stand up. That burning desire that you have of becoming a doctor, of becoming a nurse, these are things that we've done before. I'm a practical example. I'm a living, testimony of what I'm talking about, academic-wise, skill-wise, and in so many areas of life. So if anybody tells you that you cannot do what you feel like you can do, tell them that you are going to stand, you're going to do it, and you'll be able to achieve it, because there's nothing that is impossible to God. Impossible is nothing, and nothing is impossible to God. Everything that you desire, you can achieve. It's within your vision. Vision has to be bigger than what you think, and it has to be scaring you. The moment that is happening, then you know that you are headed towards the right direction. And I also want to educate the young people as we head towards Youth Day, as well as this general election that we have in 2026, this coming August. Please avoid violence. Do not allow any politician to use you as a tool of violence, because you've got to be peaceful. A young people is energetic. Ati mitikula empanga, imitinga bauchanga bakontola. There will be no Zambia. We only have one Zambia to protect, and we only have this nation, to build together as young people. This country is in our own hands. That's why you've seen that so many people, even in leadership now, are encouraging young people to step into leadership roles, because they understand that this country has to do, with youth that are influential and impactful towards, economical change, national transformation. It has to do with us, the young people, because we have, number one, the right age. I said that our age is our greatest asset. We've got the right energy. We still have strength. We can move. We can run. We can achieve those things. Our brains and our blood is still moving. So let's remain focused. Let's, get away from those negative vices that can destroy and hinder your life. So let's be educated. By the way, education, is the best equalizer, like our Republican president always puts it. Nelson Mandela always used to say that it's only education that will make a child of a maid dine on the same table with a child of a king or a president. So we've seen so many things happening like that. Some of us, because of education, we've been in platforms, we've been on tables that we never expected to be. Okay? So this is what we are talking about. We need youths that are impactful, youths that are influential, and of course, God-fearing. Let's follow the principles of Christ and move within the teachings of our Most High God. Thank you, Mr. Terry.
Thank you very much. So it's just an appreciation to you, Mr. Chikoseleshi, because I know that you're a very busy person, but you've managed to come here on the Juvenile Corner so that you can express yourself, you can impact the youth. I'm sure you've heard, you've witnessed what I said, that at the end of this video, you'll be able to become influential just from the speech that you've heard from the person that I am with in the studio, Mr. Chikoseleshi. On behalf of the TV station, we appreciate your presence, and even those watching this video, I think by the end, since they have watched this video, their lives is not the same.
Amen.
So our viewers, we have come now to the end of the show. I was your presenter, Terry Mlenga. It is just an appreciation to you who is watching this video for your faithfulness to this TV station. Each and every time we release a video, you still watch, and it is an appreciation to the director, evangelist Rolly Mbaya, and bye bye for now.